Who is Brett Kavanaugh? Brett Kavanaugh is Donald Trump's nominee for the Supreme Court. He would be filling a vacancy left by a retiring Supreme Court justice. And Supreme Court appointments are lifetime, meaning if he is confirmed, he can't be recalled. There is no impeachment process. You sit on the Supreme Court until you retire or you pass away. Donald Trump has already had the opportunity to nominate and have confirmed one Supreme Court justice during his presidency. That's Neil Gorsuch. So, as you can imagine, having Brett Kavanaugh confirmed will put two conservative leaning justices on the court, which could potentially tip decisions more in the direction of the Republican Party. So, what is all this fuss about? It's Supreme Court justice, it's the law, they follow the rules. What's all this fuss about? Well, Brett Kavanaugh is more conservative, which means he leans more Republican. He also leans more towards rights for corporations as opposed to the common man, which could, for example, mean he could vote to limit some of the powers of unions and put more power over the workers in the hands of corporations. This confirmation for President Trump would also be advantageous because with all his legal problems and potential future legal problems, the Supreme Court could be deciding if the president can be indicted, if he can be questioned by a special counsel, if he has to answer subpoenas, if he can even pardon himself. So again, this would be an advantage, a win for Donald Trump to get this justice who is more sympathetic to his political leanings and his plight than another nominee may be. Also, with all the hot button issues going on in the country right now, we have the issue of immigration and the family separation policy. The Supreme Court could be weighing in on that. We have the issue of the travel ban against Muslims or travelers from certain countries. Really, it's a Muslim ban. The Supreme Court could weigh in more heavily on that issue as well. And a very hot button issue that the Supreme Court could be deciding on with this new conservative appointment, if he is appointed, would be gay marriage. Yes, gay marriage was just legalized, it can be unlegalized. And also abortion rights. Now, there's a debate going on about whether or not abortion rights are settled law in this country because of the Roe versus Wade decision. And some people think, yeah, it's settled. Women can have the right to seek an abortion. That's it. But we know Republicans run on a pro life platform. And Brett Kavanaugh has been very shady and very dodgy in answering questions about whether he thinks abortion is settled law and what his leanings on abortion truly are, how he could potentially rule. So, this means if a challenge to abortion law is brought before the Supreme Court, if this case makes it from the lower courts up to the Supreme Court, potentially abortion rights laws could be overturned. And this would automatically trigger abortions to become illegal in certain states and places. Illegal meaning you could go to jail, you would become a criminal for getting an abortion or for the medical staff for performing abortions. So, is there any hope? Well, the reality is, even if every Democrat votes against the confirmation of Brett Kavanaugh, the Republicans still have enough votes to get him confirmed. We are kind of looking at placing some hope in Lisa Murkowski, a Republican from Alaska, and Susan Collins, a Republican from Maine, and hoping that their constituents, namely the female constituents, and all those that are sympathetic, will put pressure on them to not confirm Brett Kavanaugh to the Senate because of the potential threat to abortion laws. If abortion is overturned in this country, it could mean death or serious injury for hundreds of thousands of women who would be faced with no other choice than seeking illegal abortions. So this is not just a abortion rights, it's human rights, it's women's rights. And again, we want to put pressure on Lisa Murkowski and Susan Collins to not confirm Brett Kavanaugh to the Supreme Court. Also, this nomination can lend us a little boost in the midterm elections that are coming up. There are many um, seats up for reelection in Congress and in districts and in states where maybe necessarily abortion rights isn't an issue for the constituency. Perhaps immigration, the Muslim ban, or rights of corporations over the working man is an issue, and they will take issue with their representatives, with their senators, for confirming someone to the Supreme Court who does not have their best interests at heart. And maybe we get a chance to flip some of those Republican seats to Democrats and perhaps more power in Congress. So it's a long road. Hold on to your uterus, ladies. It's gonna be a bumpy ride.